What's going on, everybody? It is MadManPlant. We are back in the lab for a wonderful Wednesday session. We're going to have Green Year be joining us shortly. Today, we are talking about Virginia's push for legal cannabis. We just had our lobby day, and I put some notes together and some context as I'm starting to tell the news and go into more news segments, talking a little bit about the legalization, the lobbying, and the work that needs to be done. One thing about Virginia cannabis is it's very complex. There's a lot of players in it, and navigating it can be a little bit difficult. So, in today's episode, where we break down the latest and what's going on in Virginia's ongoing battle for cannabis legalization, while lawmakers have approved a competing bill to regulate retail sales, the looming feat of the veto by Governor Glenn Youngkin over there continues to cast a shadow over the progress. We'll explore the details, the implications, and of course, I'll be giving my own take on what this means for the Virginia cannabis community. And with that being said, one thing about this is it's one thing to be a part of the community as a smoker, as an influencer, if you want to call that, somebody that just makes content, somebody that just smokes. But the thing is, we need all numbers on deck. And we need people to be educated. We need people to understand the laws so we can have a real fighting chance. With education comes breaking the stigma. And that's one thing that I really target on here is becoming educated. So this way we can make more compelling arguments, especially when it comes to the laws and everything that goes. So we'll bring Green Year in here. What up, dude?
Yo, what up, dude?
Oh, not a whole lot. I'm bringing the smoke cart over, as
Happy
everybody
Wednesday,
can see
bro.
in the background. Happy Wednesday. We're going to start off with our famous, like always, 3-gram King Palm. Bam. And then we're going to do a shot together.
Oh, yeah. Let me go get my shot. I forgot it.
Yeah, Green Year was like, "Do you drink alcohol?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And he's like, "Well, let's do a shot." And I was like, "Let's do it on the live." So while he
Yeah.
does that, I'm going to get my
We got our
cannabis
shot
ready
ready.
right now.
Some
So
Don Julio.
yours is cold, mine is warm. I'm
Oh, no,
drinking.
it's a frosty shot glass.
Oh, nice. And are those some King Palms you got?
Hell yeah, dude. These are the
Yeah,
same ones that you hooked me up with.
dude. This is how many I have left of the 3 grams, like out of 25.
Damn, I still have a whole pack, bro. I haven't
Oh,
even.
dude, I smoke King Palms 24 fucking 7 like there's no other. Mainly because like you're a backwoods guy and you can
Yeah.
handle the nicotine. I can't do that. That shit will get me lightheaded and I'll feel nauseous. And I give it to people that can handle that. I cannot. I'm a lightweight when it comes to the whole nicotine and tobacco. I used to smoke cigarettes back in the day, but
I've
what are you
never smoked
smoking
it.
on tonight, by the way?
Right now I am smoking on some of the what is it? Super lemon haze, and I actually pinched in a little bit of that Skywalker OG. I found it
Nice.
was a little bit drier than the rest of the stuff. So I was like, you know what? I just want to taste it. Let me taste it. So I had
Yeah,
half the bowl, and then the rest I put it in the blunt.
a hybrid of flavor and value. Yeah, I do the same thing too. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put a little bit of this in, or I'm gonna put a little bit of this in, or you get the ones where you're trying to conserve like this stuff, so you'll smoke like the other stuff combined.
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, here, let's do our shot, and then I'm gonna pack a joint, and we'll dive into this. So I did a nice kind of a glass, more of a
Cheers, bro.
glass of it. Cheers, my dude.
Wow. It kind of gives you a little kick to the face.
No, I haven't had like a straight shot in probably close to a year. No, I wonder if I in Vegas did I have any alcohol? I don't remember. I mostly had wine in Vegas. I didn't drink too much hard liquor,
Yeah. I
but
think
that's not
no,
as harsh as I remember it. Now I'm usually a whiskey guy.
definitely.
You had tequila? Patron?
Yeah, yeah. I gotten accustomed to drinking tequila due to my parents, but straight out of high school, bro, I just remember drinking a lot of brandy, whiskey, Jack
Out of
Daniels.
high school, huh?
Yeah,
Not
high
like
school days,
after I
bro.
turned 21.
No, by then I didn't even really want to. Yeah, by then I didn't really want to drink no more. I was like, fun.
Been there, thrown up that.
Fucking, I don't know if I want to be hugging the toilet at 21 anymore.
I remember that one episode. You remember the TV show Rescue Me
uh, I believe so. That was
with
the
the
fighter show, right?
firefighters? Yeah, and
Yeah.
his daughter had an alcohol addiction, so he drowned her in the wine. Like he filled up like this little like baptism bowl with like alcohol and like dunked her in it,
Mm,
and she never wanted to drink again after that.
that's funny.
You only
Yeah.
get drunk so many times where you're like, you know what, maybe that's not a good idea. I actually want to enjoy my night and my alcohol.
Yeah, bro. That's why I just like I can burn all day. Like literally, I can smoke all fucking day, and I won't have no headache. I can control what I'm doing. The only thing I can't control is my appetite. Sometimes I get a little too hungry.
That's
But
a cool
besides,
background. I like that. That's awesome.
oh, appreciate it.
That's awesome. Mickey, I mean, not Mickey. Wow, I'm already stoned. That's not Mickey Mouse. That's Bugs
That's
Bunny.
yeah. Bugs Bunny holding a nug in the galaxy.
So, for those that are joining, today we are talking about Virginia's push for legal cannabis. And so, Virginia lawmakers approve competing retail sales. So, just ahead of 2024 legislative session crossover deadline, the Virginia House and Senate passed two competing measures to legalize and regulate recreational cannabis sales for adults 21 or older. House Bill 69-8, which is it introduced a 9% tax rate in place in state and local taxes, and Senate Bill 448, which sponsored by Senator Aaron Rose, set a 16% tax rate on the top of existing state and local taxes. Despite the differences, both bills proposed to the initial legal retail stores on January 1st, 2025, a significant step towards ending the Virginia cannabis gray market. And heading this, Normal's J.M. Pendini, a leading activist for cannabis reform, testified in support of both bills. They specifically urged lawmakers to remove criminal penalties for individuals making cannabis products for personal use, like tinctures or edibles. And I know a lot of people who, prefer tinctures and edibles due to they can't smoke, or maybe you're on oxygen, or maybe you have lung problems. That's a high thing. She also emphasized that without a regulated market, Virginia's illicit cannabis trade has grown exponentially from 1.8 billion in 2021 to 2.4 billion. Now, both bills must be reconciled in a committee conference where lawmakers will decide whether to send a version to the governor that might not immediately reject. Now, Youngkin, so for you're in Texas, but here in Virginia, we had this wonderful senator
Right.
or governor, I'm so sorry, named Youngkin, and this is what he looks like. Bam. And I'm sure he's a very nice guy. But when it comes to cannabis, he doesn't think that it has so many values. And one of the things that I highly disagree with the governor is the fact that it has no value when it comes to mental health. And it's
Well,
actually hurting mental health. And as and we'll talk about from your personal experience since you're on the show, I have found myself personally, speaking for only myself, a great relief when it comes to cannabis and being able to use cannabis and interact with it, especially when it comes to anxiety or depression or, other things that, coming my way from being a great person. What about you?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I was like, you can't really have an opinion like fully without really ever experiencing it. Yeah, and you have to experience it for a good amount of time because some people have some bad intentions and they will fuck you up on your first time if you've never tried it. They will purposely just get you on your ass, and that's not the way to go. It's easier way into the fun, into relaxation. Same thing like what we just did right now. We took one nice shot, and with that, we would just be on cruise control. Add a little bit of the cannabis to burn after a long work day. I feel like it's a treat that you can relieve yourself with. Whether you like cannabis or you prefer smoking or cigarettes, like everybody has their thing that they like to do, and I feel like it brings people together.
I do believe so. Nelson Mandela has a quote that says, "Sport." He said, "Sport brings men together, or men and women
Yep,
together like nothing else." And I also want to add into those categories food, cannabis, and music.
definitely music, bro. Music and cannabis goes together like fucking cheese and wine, or fucking
Yeah,
beer
like
and
a charcuterie board. Yeah. Now,
yeah,
see,
it just blends together.
Governor Youngkin's anti-cannabis stance, while Democrats control both the House and the Senate, pushing these bills forward, the real battle will be convincing the governor. Let's be real though. Youngkin has made it very clear that he has no interest in pressing forward with marijuana legislation. In 2024, he vetoed a previous bill that would have allowed medical dispensaries to begin selling cannabis recreationally. So even if lawmakers craft a unified bill, there's a strong chance he'll shut it down again. And this is where things get frustrating. The legalization law passed in 2021 when Democrats controlled the Virginia's government. Retail sales were supposed to begin no later than January 1st, 2024. But
Mm.
when the Republicans took over the House and the governor's office in 2022, excuse me, they blocked the framework needed to regulate and tax the market, preventing any legal sales from happening. And one thing that I find in legal states is it makes it way safer. As somebody who traveled a lot last year
Yeah,
and went to many different dispensaries, it was a very safe relief knowing that one, I didn't have to try to bring stuff with me and break the law, but
right.
two, I could go somewhere and find the same value in cannabis, the same quality that I'm always looking for in a
Hmm.
dispensary that is a professional environment that allows me to shop and, in the case, to contribute more if we're talking about taxes to the state because I'm purchasing more by being there and seeing all the options versus, we talk about an elect market, and one of Governor Youngkin's stances is he's worried about underage youth. Well, every dispensary that I went to
Yep, has a
had
fucking security
ID
guard.
checking where they
Yeah,
scan
you
your
can.
license and it registers it.
Yeah, it was
What
like
about you? What are your thoughts?
I was like, I know for sure you can't even get in most of these dispensaries without having a valid license, uh, and then of age. And they check it. They make sure they not only like with a flashlight, but they have a machine now that actually checks the IDs to make sure it's a legit thing. So that's even before you walk in. Once you are of age, you have pretty much a lobby that you have to wait and sign up if you've been a patient there, or if you're a new person. You still have to do your little process of waiting, and then they'll bring you to the back. But
Well,
yeah, like helping out the city, yeah, definitely.
and then also too is for a lot of people, like we were talking about earlier, Not everybody wants to get blasted right away. Not everybody wants, to go on a roller coaster their first time in cannabis. And when you have these legal dispensaries, you also have bud tenders that can help make more informed decisions for consumers that make their experiences better, and they actually get the relief that they're looking for. And that's something that a dealer is not going to be able to offer you.
Yeah, it's like I remember being a bud tender back in California. It was definitely fun. Not only being fun, you get to have one-on-one sessions with the patient that's coming in. Get to hear their story and why they're consuming. Most of them is for like glaucomas or other like cancer stuff. Um, rather not get too detailed in it, but yeah, like it's just nice to hear that it just relieves so many people, and everybody has a different background, or some of them are might be even the same symptoms, and just being able to see them their health or the medicine and their perspective and do good, bro. And that like you mentioned before, like if the city's not getting a little cut off of that, why are you gonna hate? You should be condoning more sales. You should be helping out legalizing it, so therefore you can see your cut with no hassle.
Hold
Like
on for a second.
I remember paying quite a bit of the taxes when I went to California to go get some flour, bro. I think they were charged like $50 aids, and then probably like $12 on tax, the city tax and then the state tax. I was like, what the fuck?
Sorry, hold on for 1 second. Thank you. Sorry, need my inhaler for a second.
Free. What up, high tide?
Well, for those that don't know, I actually have really bad asthma. And for those that also, speaking of health and cancer and stuff like that, if you haven't gotten checked, you should go get checked. On Monday, I don't know if you saw my post, but I have a procedure where they're actually going to stick a needle into my lung because they're trying to biopsy a nodule. Now, they don't think that it's cancerous, but they also need to rule that out. And I, like other people, have had a colonoscopy and I got cancerous cells taken out. So, one of those things is, when we talk about markets and those who truly need it, you have cancer patients, you have people that are dealing with trauma, PTSD, all these different things who rely on this plant. And in Virginia's aspect, I feel like we're just playing games. What are we really doing? You know what I mean? It's like it's okay to promote it in the movies, but we can still get arrested today for it. And when I was speaking to Equity Row and some of those people like 40 tons, Free My Weed Man, Plant Over Pills, the 1937 group, one of the things they said is, it's great that we're moving and we're trying to get all this for cannabis, but we
Mm-hmm.
still have to pay homage of those who are still locked up today for cannabis only crimes.
Yep.
And until the last person is freed, we still have an ongoing battle. And it's in my opinion, I think it's kind of bullshit. It's this cat and mouse game. It's like, oh, hey, you can ride around with a pot leaf on your t-shirt. No one's gonna fuck with you. But if you're in the wrong state smoking, you risk your freedoms and your privileges being taken away. And there's just so many other things like fentanyl and other things that people are leaving to come to cannabis, and yet we still want to deny that. Like,
Yeah.
and that's my problem. Moving on to this, the dangers of an unregulated market. Pendini um, and other advocates have pointed out the public safety risks of Youngkin's refusal to sign off on the legal framework. Illicit sellers dominate the market, selling untested products that could contain pesticides, heavy metals, synthetic cannabinoids, or worse, things like fentanyl or other lace components. I don't. Have you had this interaction? Has anybody ever asked you if your weed has been sprayed?
No.
Okay, so I was smoking some weed and I shared a couple nugs with some people, and they asked me if my weed was sprayed. And when I asked them what they meant, they said like you sprayed for
Lace.
like no, sprayed for the smell, so it smells better. And I
What the?
was like, yeah.
A
And
terpene spray?
they're yeah, and they were asking because they wanted the stuff that has the spray on it. And I'm like, you don't even know what's in that spray. Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean? Like, you want stuff sprayed on your plant? Um, Packaging concerns. Illicit products don't come in childproof containers, increasing the risk of accidental ingestion. Now, I've personally never known somebody that accidentally ingested cannabis except for my dog who licked it off the floor when my pot of butter spilled from the oven to the floor. But, one
Yeah.
thing it can help is drug dealers don't check ID cards. And if
Yeah.
we're so worried about the children, why wouldn't we want to put it in more of a professionalized space to encourage child safety? That's what we're really concerned after. And then also,
I
and
don't
I
know. We're
have
talking about drug dealers. They're pretty stingy when it comes to their stuff, bro. They make sure that the kids are nowhere near around that shit. Because they're
well
like,
that and in a way that's a responsible drug dealer, but there are drug dealers who are hitting the high schools and other shit too.
yeah.
So, lost tax revenue. Instead of Virginia benefiting from millions in dollars in taxes, the state is handing the entire market to the illicit industry. And in my notes of one of my videos I'm making, I talk about, hey, Yunkin, where's my $300 million in tax revenue? Money
Uh,
that could be used for the schools, the healthcare systems, community programs, our roads, fire departments, police departments. Think about, I've always made the argument not everybody has money to pay their bills, but most people have money for weed.
I have nothing against the police department, but they don't even do their own job, so I don't even think they deserve more than what they're already getting. That's
Well,
my
well,
their
I
thing is a public service, not go arrest everybody or sit in a spot every 30 between the 28th to the 30th trying to get your tickets in before the first. Like, I see what you're doing. Like, instead of like, I'd be out there. I've broken down several times on the road, and I see multiple cops just fly by, and I've been the one where I've seen several people out on the road, and I'd rather help out, seeing that they're struggling.
well, I will say I am pro good cop, anti bad cop. I do believe that law
Do good stuff.
enforcement and the military is the defender of our democracy and the safety and freedoms that we have compared to other third world countries where you have to worry every night about being murdered. You know what I mean? So I am full support of all the first responders. Are there bad interactions? Are there people that target people in these professions? Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's not appropriate. But I do believe the true value of policing, even though I would never want to get in trouble with the cops,
Hmm.
is for the enforcement of good and the order and organization so we can live a life where safety and living and dying is not a concern of ours compared to some countries where you may wind up dead in your village the next morning because you know what? There's
That's the
nobody there to stop that.
causing a lot of the killings nowadays.
But with that being said,
So,
you know, let's not forget that Virginia already has a regulated medical cannabis program. And my friend actually went to the dispensary and got me some of the bubble hash from there, and it was fucking amazing. It's amazing to me in Virginia how my friend whose wife has a medical card can go to this dispensary and get cannabis, but I, as a recreational user who doesn't want to risk losing my Second Amendment and having
Yeah.
somebody say, well, because you have marijuana,
Yeah.
we think you're unstable with guns, when I've been a very reasonable gun owner for a very long time, to have that opportunity. And also, this ensures safe products. So why not extend that to us, where we can have the ability to support the state versus, well, in my case, I'm a home grower. So I don't have to worry about getting my cannabis anywhere. And I think that's one of the true benefits of home growing is one, and you can jump in on this too, is one, the pride of actually growing the plant yourself, taking the time, being hands in the dirt or however you grow, watching that plant grow, cutting that plant down yourself, harvesting it, curing it, smelling it, sharing it with your friend. For me, that is one of the biggest, hard-ons about growing is it's just so much more than gardening. What about you?
I don't know. It definitely is more of a like a meditation for me. Um, like if I was like a monk and shit, this would be like my little getaway bonsai, fucking all peaceful. Um, it brings a lot of knowledge too to as you're growing it out. You get to see the maturities of the plant, and for my first instinct, it got me to want to start growing food, stuff that I could actually consume, not only by burning. So right away, I started growing cucumbers, squash, um, grown a couple jalapenos. I think I threw in some blueberries and raspberries. Like by wanting to grow the plant that I really love to consume, open my eyes to wanted to grow different other things and then see deficiencies and plants and on day-to-day adventures when I'm out on the road or hiking or running around in in the countryside. Like you can see the little deficiencies that nature tree and that like the natural trees. It's just you wouldn't paid attention before. I don't know. It's definitely an experience for somebody to. I definitely would recommend everybody to try it of age, try it and see what it takes you. Hi. Oh shit. Hello.
No, totally agree with you. And and the education and everything like that, that's really what takes this away, is the beauty of being able to learn a skill in an environment and then be able to flourish inside of that. Excuse me.
You doing all right there?
I'm doing great actually with all the coughing and now the burping. I'm a wonderful spokesperson. So at the end of the day, Youngkin has decided to do as he wants in an uncontrolled cannabis market. Or hold on, I read that fucking wrong. Hold on. Okay, at the end of the day, Youngkin has to decide: does he want an uncontrolled cannabis market, or does he want a well-regulated industry that benefits the state? Right now, he's letting politics take priority over safety,
Mhm.
suggestively. All right. So, in recent developments in Virginia, as early as 2025 in February, Virginia's legislative landscape regarding cannabis has seen significant activity. Both chambers of the Virginia General Assembly have approved bills to establish a regulated adult use cannabis market. The Senate recently passed a bill to set up the adult marijuana program, and the House has advanced a companion measure. Despite the legislative advancements, the future of these bills remains uncertain. Youngkin has consistently expressed opposition to expanding cannabis legalization. In 2024, he vetoed a similar legislation, citing concerns over perfect public health and safety. And that's where I bring up another note right here. Hold on for a second. Governor Youngkin says legal cannabis worsens mental health, but let's talk facts. Legal states see few opiate overdoses and less alcohol abuse to major or less alcohol abuse, two major contributors to mental health crisis. For many, cannabis is a safe alternative for managing anxiety, depression, PTSD. Instead of addressing the real mental health benefits cannabis offers, I can't even speak. Holy fuck! Youngkin
No.
continues to spread fear and stigma. Let's focus on solutions, not scared tactics. And that's what I want to get at is the fact that if we're really for the people and we're really understanding that cannabis really works for the people, how are we still denying it? You know what I mean? When we right now we have an opiate crisis. We're in an opiate pandemic that is like worse than ever before. When you have drugs like crocodile, fentanyl, you have Waka, you have all these different like
What is
hardcore drugs.
what is all these things that you're talking about? I don't even know.
Okay, so so
What's a
crocodile,
waka?
Waka, and
What?
crocodile. And in China it's called yabin. Is
Like
what
waka flocka?
so
Waka flocka
waka and
flanker Billy?
crocodile started in Florida, and it's a drug. I'm not exactly sure how it's made, but it eats at your skin and bones and will literally melt the skin from your bones, leaving skeletal parts of your bones exposed, and your skin will literally just grow around it. Like the body is so diverse, but crocodile is like meth or heroin, but it's way cheaper. And then waka, um, that is just like fentanyl, but again, way cheaper, but made with way more crude materials, like things you could buy at a hardware store,
Right.
and it's very bad. And you see it like heavily in like Pittsburgh or like LA. When we were in LA, I've seen a lot of the homeless. I've worked with the homeless a lot. I've been to a lot of homeless camps. I've done a lot of stuff with the homeless. And when I was in LA, I've seen a lot of homeless. I have never seen it on that level where it is just so normalized. These people have nowhere to go, literally. And
Yeah.
we were on the way from the hotel to an interview or whatever, and we were in California, and we saw this lady that was pretty much almost naked on the street, like crawling around. And it just opens your life and your mind up to be thankful. If all you do is smoke weed, that's a great thing in your life, because regardless of politics or finances or people, to live in a situation where there's just you can't even give regard to your own health. What a world that must be. Something that I know nothing about, but as someone that has spent a lot of time with addiction, as far as people with addiction through NA programs, AA programs, way before this podcast even started, I've seen a lot. And it's just very eye opening, when you lose self control or self value in what you're really willing to do. What about you? What's your take on being around people that have suffered severe addiction and stuff like that?
Well, I can't personally say. But yeah, like, well, I guess in addiction, uh, I guess in denial of what they were doing. Um, I'd rather not mention who or what, but I can tell you the story. Uh, they were just doing cocaine and doing it with their friends, having a good time and all this stuff. And you know, as a kid, didn't really know what the fuck was going on, like, or I just chose not to know. Either way, I try to pretend like it never really happened, because like it was an idol to me, and then to see it happen, then to see his abusive side, because fucking he got very abusive, especially when he would drink and then do cocaine. It was like he was wired up, like, and then being physically abused by that person just kind of hurt me. Not only physically but like emotionally too, because I'm like, not like I was mentioning, like, trying to trying to trying to be an adult or a man and not having a father, but you have somebody that's at least trying to show you the ropes, and addicted to something that he's not knowing he's addicted to.
Well, I've talked to some addicts, like we had past week, and some of them, they don't see the addiction right away, or some people are too embarrassed by it and they don't want to admit that they have an addiction, or others, they just, they don't think about it at all, and they don't, and
his
in this situation, go ahead.
his excuse was that he didn't want the family to see him otherwise, like how I viewed him. All the rest of the family had viewed him. He was the alpha. He was the so by I guess, like, by bringing that up, I guess it made him weak and not wanting to admit that. And at the same time, he was like physically abusing me, telling me that I was smoking weed when I wasn't. I literally like wasn't until I tried it. Like, you know what? I keep getting accused of trying this shit.
Might
I
as
might as
well.
well fucking try it. Like, you know what? Fucking let's see. Like, I've always been around it. I've always said no. I was in the Dare program. I felt like it was that stigma that everybody say, yo, it's bad and it's bad for you and there's all these things. So like I would listen. I was trying to be that good kid that everybody fucking would see in their eyes as a good kid. And like until I tried it, and I don't feel like I changed in any way. I feel like I got more in tune with myself. Um, Being able to at least express myself, not holding it in more, because I was like, I've always been shy. So it's like it kind of brings me out, like, and stuff like this. Before I wouldn't have been able to do anything like this.
Yeah,
Like if it wasn't in person, I would have never met you. Like
right.
simple as that.
Cannabis
Yeah,
brought us all together.
yeah, as simple as that.
What's up, Spanish Stray? How's it
What up?
going?
Edit.
High and Tight, how's it going? High and Tight's a great person. David, if
Dude,
you want to jump on, I can extend the link here if you want to listen to a little bit about
yeah, he
Virginia
has good
here.
knowledge, man. He
There you go. Put the link out. All right. So, the ongoing tension between the legislative and executive branches highlights the complexities or of establishing a regulated cannabis market in Virginia. Advocates argue that the legal marketplace would ensure product safety, generate tax revenue, and reduce the illicit market. Opponents, including Youngkin, raised concerns over health, safety, and the potential of societal impacts of increased cannabis availability. I hate to admit it, Mr. Youngkin, but it is very readily available here in Virginia. As the situation develops, it is crucial for the stakeholders and citizens to stay informed and engaged in the dialogue surrounding cannabis, just like me and Greenier are doing right now. I'll wait for him to get back here. Where do we go from here? Yoda, you can join the link too. Are you coming back? Here we go.
all right.
Are you
Hey,
wanna,
what up?
yeah, if you guys want to join in the link, it's right there. Feel free. Are you doing a bong rip? Is that what's going on?
Oh shit, yeah, you know it, bro. You know it.
All right. Well, let me join in.
Hell
I'll just get
yeah.
this ping pong for later. Yeah, my heavy smoking days are coming to an end here. I think
For, for
not
you?
not like the heavy blunts and stuff, only because my my asthma seems to be getting worse. And
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
exercise, bro. You
well,
need to
I
definitely
actually
need
I
to
joined the
go some
gym.
cardio.
I joined the gym and I'm going to do that. But
You don't even
also
need a gym. You
I'm
have a gym
going
right outside your doors, bro. Like you have those hills that you could be running up and down. That'll give you fucking straight, not only power in your legs, but good cardio. And then you could be doing push-ups up like that, and like off the wall, like standing off the wall, and you just like literally, that's fucking all your body right here, your traps, gonna be swole. Imagine a madman swole, like what up?
that's what Matt Man is trying to get swole.
What up?
This way I look good. Get that nice little flex when I cut down the plants. I'm like, oh yeah, let me just take out the one in the back. 22-inch cannons. Here we go. Cheers, dudes.
I would say the average American height is 5'5", six
Actually,
foot, and
reducer.
I believe you're in that range, right?
What's that? What'd you say?
The average height for American dudes is like
Well, I'm
between
not a
5 foot to 6. Oh,
well that would be cool for American dudes, but I'm not from America.
you're not born here?
I was not born in America.
Oh shit!
I was born in Romania and I was adopted out of an orphanage full of other babies. And out of the other 100 babies, they chose me, which I'm not exactly sure why they did. Maybe they could have had more success with another kid. We'll never know. But I'm here and that's how I got here. So, yeah, at 2 years old, I was adopted from Romania once they killed the leader, and America opened up to adoption to the United States.
Wow,
Or, I mean,
you
Romania
have
opened up to adoption. Yep.
you have a really good story, bro.
Yeah,
Um,
dude. So we're both immigrants. We're both not from here, but somehow we wound up here, you know?
well, I was in the belly when I was here, but no,
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you
yeah,
said you
my
were
mom.
born in Mexico.
No, my mom came. She was 7. I think she was like 7 months when she literally came over to the U.S. and she walked fucking like for miles to where she had like her toes got so blistered out and they blackened out and because some of the areas where she had to go through. She didn't really give me too detailed, but I like the scars and all that she did get detailed in. She was like, yeah, I walked here. I made sure that you had a future in the U.S. and wanted to give you everything that I didn't have, and that I'm
Adopted
grateful for.
child as well. Oh my god. And that's crazy. So your mom walked from Mexico to the United States?
Pretty much like as far as she
Like
could.
through like a smuggler trail, or did she actually go through the
Yeah,
border and everything?
no. I'm sure it was the the smuggler trail or some
Dude, that's
one
see,
trail.
you fucking have a story. Dude, that's fucking awesome, you know?
Yeah, I should get her on the show sometime
You
and ask
should.
her.
We'll interview her together. That would be awesome.
Yeah, she can understand some.
I'll bring a translator. I got Google Translate. Like so
What up, David?
look, so when the workers come to the house, I have this really good his name is
All right, but
Patrick,
before
but with an H. Um it's Patrick. So it's a little bit different. But when we like are talking, right, and I'm like, oh, I need you to do something. I'm like, all right, I need you to replace the light over there. And then and I'll be like,
To the king I need you do
wait,
replace a light Albert.
okay, that did not I did not get it right at all. But I'll literally have the translator and I'll be like, boom, boom, Remember? And I'll hold it up so they can read it, and then he'll give me the thumbs up because they don't speak English, but they're really fucking good workers. I mean, they do really fucking good work. My neighbor, they did work for my neighbor, and then we got their number, and really nice guys, but they barely speak English. But Google Translate's hilarious with that. We'll just be sitting in the living room like, I need you
Hey,
to
bro.
do this.
I'm so sorry. I have a roll call. I'm gonna have to cut it short, but
You're going on the road. Well, be safe, dude.
It was fun hanging out for a little bit, and fucking good luck on the rest of the show. Fucking it's very educational so far, so keep it up, bro. Fucking I love it.
Dude, well, thanks for coming on, Greenier, and we'll see you in the Discord soon. Be safe on the road, dude. That's awesome. glad you got a call.
Yes, sir.
Peace. All right, David. That means you and I are here. Spanish
Now I'm on the spot.
as well. I was really surreal to have a child, being that I've never met anyone of my own blood. I'm the same way.
I'm adopted too.
Are you really? Oh fuck, man! That's 4 people in one room.
Actually, I never got adopted. My mom died when I was 13, and some cousins took me in, but they raised me from most of the time after that, but they never went through the adoption process. But I guess I was more of a foster child.
Oh fuck, Smash Dre. See, I thought you were actually the cool
suck. That way, yeah, you do suck. That's unofficial. You suck.
I know.
Wow.
What? Wow! How inappropriate to make a joke like that.
Right. Oh,
all right, David. So listen, as you're joining the conversation, where do we go from here in Virginia? Well, there's still a lot in play. Both bills must be reconciled before a final version is sent to Youngkin's desk. And if you want to know what Youngkin looks like, he joined our podcast. Bam! He looks like this nice, handsome fella that he is. I have nothing against
him. That was nice of him to join.
Yep. I told him that until his office says that he's no longer allowed to be here. I would like him to be here because I think it's very important. I have nothing against him. No ill feelings or anything, but I have some suggested ideas and some differences that I think could be brought to light, and some of his arguments suggestively may not be as accurate as he's saying, especially when it comes to mental health and cannabis. But
have you invited him on the podcast yet?
I would love to do that. I'll go to, if you're watching this or anybody's in his office ever watches this, I will be happy to come to his office with my team, with my production, and sit down. I would welcome that. That is one thing that I'm trying to do, is really become a voice, not just some asshole that thinks it should be this way, but really be on both sides and say, okay, listen, I get this side, but if you listen and you hear the voices and the people that we've talked to and their stories, I can promise you some of what you're saying, you might think differently about. But until, one thing we talked about on a couple podcasts ago is immersion. I think education and immersion is the ultimate way to break this stigma, because on the outside in, it's like arguing with a cop on the side of the road. You're not going to win that argument. But now, like, let's say, God forbid, somebody in a politician's family all of a sudden got sick. Well, they realized through their treatment that cannabis really saved their life. Maybe that senator or that governor or whatever might have a difference of opinion if he saw the miracle and the work within his own family, his own life, something that he truly values and cares about, that also now confirms that this is okay, this is good. And I think when we do it, it's less about screw you and fuck this. It's more about, no, listen, you're missing the point. You have to understand what you're looking at. What do you think, David?
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think, what, if you did sit down with him, I bet you guys would find more common ground than you might think. You know what I mean? I bet you guys agree on a lot of things. It'd be fun to find out what you agree and disagree on.
Oh, I bet we do. And that's the beauty of it too, is realizing how close we are as minded people, as common interests and things like that. And I think that if if he would be open to something like that, I would jump at the opportunity. Another thing is, additional protections for medical cannabis patients, including employment protections and parental rights. Now, I covered this in my quick segment about, I think it's HB 2169. 2169. Hold on. Senate Bill 2613. Sorry. And this is outlining the protections for parents in cannabis. That pretty much what it states is that anybody that's a legal adult that is authorized to use cannabis cannot be subject to neglect,
Abuse, right?
abuse, or negligence to any child that they're in charge of. And it also protects guidelines that make CPS have to rewrite their own laws and guidelines of how cannabis is played and offer us, the parents, a foolproof outline to keep us safe. And it's a very good thing to have this. I'll actually play this statement real quick. Topic: child custody laws in Virginia. HB 2613 is a new bill that could make a big difference for families. Let's break it down. HB 2613 focuses on child abuse, neglect, and custody rights. And here's what it has to say. Under this new bill, a child cannot be considered abused, neglected, and no one can be denied custody or visitation solely based on a parent or caregiver that possesses or consumes substances that are legally authorized. This is a big deal because it protects families from unfair judgment based on legal substance use. For example, parents using cannabis with a valid prescription or other authorized substances would not normally face penalties when it comes to custody or visitation. The bill also directs the Board of Social Services to take action. Specifically requires it to, 1, update regulations, guidance documents, and instructional materials to reflect this change. And number 2, ensuring that investigations and family assessments by social services comply with the new law. This means social workers will give clear guidelines to follow, helping protect families from unnecessary interference in everything they are doing in the law. So, if you want to watch more, you can watch it on my reel. But that's a really good thing for parents, because as a parent, the last thing you'd want to do is lose the right to your own child, all because of a joint. And it's happened. You know what I mean? All right,
and worse,
Republicans backed the bill to impose unscientific THC blood limits for drivers were killed for this session. As we await for the next moves, this is time for advocacy. If you're in Virginia and you want to see legal cannabis sales finally happen, we need to reach out to our representatives and let them know. And then here we go. Final thoughts. Virginia has a choice. Regulate tax and cannabis like other states, and let an unchecked black market continue to grow. The General Assembly is doing its part, but it's clear that Youngkin will be its biggest roadblock. The fact that we've had legal possession and home growing for over 3 years, but you still cannot buy cannabis legally is ridiculous. So, with that being said, it is. What do you think about that? Now, you're in a state where it's illegal, no growing, no smoking, dispensary only.
No, there's no dispensary, nothing in Kansas. There's no legal use for cannabis at all, not even medical, nothing.
Oh man. And what is your legislation look like? Is it a governor that's a roadblock for you guys? Is it the whole house? Like,
I'm not sure what's going on. Honestly, I'm not up on what's going on with cannabis. I know it's been on up for a vote a few times, and it's never gone through. It's just the Bible Belt here, you know. It's the Midwest. It's kind of the attitude of a lot of people. They still don't. There's a big stigma around it. Still, people don't really understand what's going on with it. It's still associated with, you know, drug use. Still, you know, still federally legal. People still think of that too. So I know all that goes into play when people are thinking about what's going on with marijuana in the state of Kansas.
Yeah. Well, I'm really hoping that at least for Virginia, we can have our peace, because when you look at other states and everything, um, you see a lot. I think, in my opinion, think about it, Vegas, right? Think about it. Vegas did not have dispensaries. How much risk the tourists would be taking every time that they tried to
Oh
buy
yeah,
weed in that city, right?
yep,
And the black markets would have thrived, where they control pretty much everything, and it puts people in a bad situation who aren't part of that. And I can't speak on that because I really know nothing about it. But what I think is, when I was at Circus, I could cross the street from my hotel, and there was a really nice dispensary open 24 hours, really great product. All I had to do was cross the street, and I'm going into a professionalized building. It's safe. And guess what? Now my tax money is going to that state, so they can, continue to operate, and they can continue to do other things just like every other person that's paying at those dispensaries. I don't understand why it exists this way, unless it's like there's something else. I just feel like we go black and blue just trying to explain it, but it's so obvious at this point. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I know that you know, because the way things here are in Kansas, I'm, you know, wanting to move to another state where they're much more liberal, where I can grow my own medicine and I can have some control over what kind of medicine I get. So Missouri, here I come, hopefully.
Missouri, here I come. Yikes. Texas barely has a medical, but basically doesn't. People just use it to get through and smoke THCA. Well, THCA is like, seems to be what's pushed, because it's like one compound different, and they change this molecule and it's different. You know what I mean? It's always like this thing. It's just, I think, in the real sense, it's like, do you want to keep cr- having to create different cannabinoids to make it legal and do this rat race, or just give people the real thing?
Well, THCA is a weird kind of offshoot. The reason why it's legal is because it's only got 3% or less, I think, is what makes it legal hemp, right? 3% or less THC in it.
Okay,
Then
so
they can add this THCA, which is what THC becomes when you heat it up. So you're adding the same product in that will give you the different effects, you know, intoxicating effects. Technically, the THC is still under that legal threshold, but the THCA will still give you intoxicating effects, just like regular cannabis will. And THCA is extracted from, it's supposed to be extracted from hemp products, at
yeah,
least in
no,
Missouri.
gotcha. Now, when I was in Oklahoma, um, I didn't actually go to the dispensary because at the Cowboy Cup, people were generous enough to have weed for me while I was there, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
But
that's great.
do you know if
I
Oklahoma
like those kind of
is,
people.
well, when people know you're coming, I guess it has its perks. In Oklahoma, do you have recreational, or is it medical only? Let's look it up.
Well, and the reason there's a market for those THCA products is because
Okay,
it's
so
usually it's a little cheaper than other products, and you can get it legally in all 50 states.
Oklahoma, it's illegal for recreational use, but legal for medical use, which makes sense because of the Cowboy Cup. You have to have a medical card to get this special gift bag that has THC stuff inside of it. If you don't get that special bag. So
You get a if you get a medical card, is it valid in other states or just the state you get it in?
uh-huh.
So, like, do they have reciprocity with that?
Okay, so in Virginia would not recognize other states' medical marijuana
Oh,
cards.
okay.
So now I don't know
Interesting.
about other states. Which states accept out of state medical marijuana cards? Let's see here.
I bet none, probably. I bet you they make you get one wherever you go just to make sure they're covered by their individual state laws and what requires a medical exemption to get marijuana.
Okay. Okay, so reciprocity does happen.
Oh,
So in Delaware, Louisiana, Michigan, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, and Washington, D.C.
nice. Well, that's awesome. So some places are doing it. That's
And
great.
some places require you to fill out a temporary form while you're visiting, such as Arkansas or Arkansas,
Oh,
Hawaii, Maryland, Mississippi, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma says a valid state issued ID are acceptable if patient completes a temporary patient application information form. An out of state doctor's recommendation alone is not sufficient enough to attend an Oklahoma medical marijuana card.
interesting.
Evening,
Pardon me.
gentlemen. Well, I'm glad you made it to the end because this podcast today only lasted for an hour, which we are going to be now heading to Discord. So if you would like to come hang out with me, I will send out my Discord here. We have a wonderful Discord channel full of some really awesome people, and we are
Discord is
always
fun,
in
y'all
there.
should join.
Yeah, we're always in there together.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to be
Partners in
chilling.
crime.
But this Sunday we'll be back live. I also want to say, which you'll see me here posted, but I guess since you're live with me, I'll let you hear it first from the what is it? What is it
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight from the horse's mouth. So yeah, join our Discord. I'm not sure. How do you say her name or his or her name?
Egabla.
Yeah, feel free to join us. Sorry for butchering your name. No disrespect
Yeah.
intended. But feel free to join the Discord. Anybody else watching, except for that GI Genetics guy? I don't know about
That
him.
guy's trouble.
He's kind of
He's
weird.
trouble. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
If you guys need seeds, GI Genetics is the man to go to.
Other than that, avoid him. He's just really weird.
Right. But to tell everybody straight here, our new show sponsor for the Grow series and the podcast is going to be Current Culture. So you will see them very soon, and we are doing their deep water culture system, which I will be showing off.
Nice.
Yep, they've been around for over 20 years. They have their own nutrient line and tons of solutions for growers, from commercial all the way down to home growers. But they're going to be our sponsors for a while. We're also releasing some more sponsors coming up as we get the show ready for this year. But I'm really excited to have them on. Everybody else, we will see you in Discord literally in a couple minutes. Have a great time. David, in the meantime, tell people where
Peace.
they can find you.
Oh, they can find me at Mo High Tight, MO High Tight on YouTube, or High Tight 420 High Tight on Instagram,
Yep.
or
And
David
also,
Evans on Facebook.
yep. And my friend Greenier, who was just on, you can follow him at Grow Me Talk. He has his own podcast. He goes on Mondays. So great show to check out. And as always, you know where to find me. We will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.